Good day, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. Okay, so here, January 3rd, we are on. So I'm going to go over the outlook for oil. I'm going to talk about Treasury. Then I'll get into the crypto outlook and some of the one surprising coin that's doing very well, and that could be the next Solana. So let me first go into the oil because most people seem to like the fundamental stuff first. They're saying that oil is going to have a tough year. I think if there's demand destruction, which is looking, then we can expect if there's demand destruction and the reports came out for the manufacturing, it's been negative below 50 for the last, I think, 14 weeks. So there is a demand destruction there. And plus what's going on in the Red Sea is going to have an impact as long as this war keeps continuing. So that's what's driving that. The only driver that might drive up the price of oil, as far as I could see, is China. I'm always hoping to see China come to the rescue, like they did in 08, 09, to help relieve any of the negative pressures going on in the West. But the way it's looking, that may continue as the globe is having some problems. All right, so there's that. So let me go over to the Treasury. First thing I need to point out is this one right here is the DXY starting to move up again, from 100 to 102. That's a slight big move when you consider it's been peaking in around 106, 107 for last year, 2023. So that may be a good sign, which may take away what I'm about to show you on the Treasury. So the blue line is the Treasury 10-year. I don't really care about a lot about the Treasury, but what does matter on the Treasury is once you start to see Treasury hit in around over 4, usually that's not a good sign of the Treasury. You can see here up until September 23rd, it's the 5-year. It's right here. We have here the 5-year and the 30-year. Once they start to diverge, that's when things are about to break. That's what you got to look for when it comes to the economy, because everything needs to be tightened up. Once they start to decline, that takes away the pressure. But on the incline, once they start to diverge, these two from the 10-year, that's when you start to see get into trouble. How do we know that? Well, we just go over to what happened back in March. Let me pull up the one day here. March 23rd, you can see right here, it was building, boom. And look what happened. Remember what happened in March? Banks started to break. So, and that's when the markets were not doing so strong as well. Thank you, Hitch, for the prosperous. Same to you. Hopefully, things are not going good right now for the markets, but I appreciate that. Hopefully, I'm seeing on the flip side of stuff. Anyways, so you can see everything started to diverge. And what happened? The Fed, by emergency, had to step in and take relief off the banks, those 3 banks, and print away like they did. But look what's happening naturally. That risk continues to move up. And as long as the U.S. markets were doing well, then you won't see these problems. But now, for the last 2 days, we've seen that the markets are having some problems. So this may start to tick up. So if they start to tick up and then these continue to diverge, the 5 and 30 diverge against the 10-year, you can see that's your early warning sign. You're going to start to see things break. So that you have to keep an eye out on. All right, let's talk about crypto. Okay, so crypto is down, as you know. I think it was Metro, can't remember, Metroport. They said that there's a high likelihood that ETFs may not happen for BlackRock and the major out there. So as it stands, that might not happen. The Hitch, question: do you work full time, or do you do this trading as your job? Just wanted to know because you always pop up every time just show up randomly on the streams. It's pretty cool. But just let me know if you actually have a job or this is what you do. Anyways, so continuing along is with Bitcoin. You do have a job. Wow. Okay. Surprised you can do it during the day. Maybe you work at night or something. I don't know. Anyways, with the Bitcoin, Metro Port said ETF may not happen. Boom, look what happens. Bitcoin drops quite a bit. I've got an open position on Ethereum as well. I haven't loaded it up here, but I think it'll come back. I mean, this is BlackRock we're talking, and I think what BlackRock wants, BlackRock gets. Okay, they're like the big boys in the family. You know, the kid that screams the loudest, right? I mean, they're a $10 trillion company under management. Anyways, so Bitcoin's down. Ethereum's pretty well the same, but the one coin that's done very well is right here, ICP. They're saying that this may become the next Solana. Okay, it's really tough to say, but when you look at the 1 day and then you look at the 1 hour, you can see it's kind of gone flat, but this may start to move up. I'm going to add this to my watch list because I've done crypto for a number of years now, and even if the market does poorly in the crypto space, this ICP, this Internet Computer Protocol, usually does fairly well in the down moments of crypto. So this could be something to watch for. Let me see here. So you got a 1 year move right there from $2 to 14. That's times 7. Obviously I haven't paid attention to it, but this might be a big one, just like Solana. So just saying. Okay, well let's take. They also say that XRP is going to move. You can see it drop down. I've always said that if Bitcoin drops, Ethereum drops, you need to measure the drop in the coin. Here you can see it's a fairly big drop, and that's in line with Bitcoin. So I'm not sure if XRP will bounce back or will, unless there's something regulatory that helps impact it, kind of like with Doge and how Elon Musk may say something positive about Doge and then it spikes. This is one of those coins I wouldn't just you put a lot of emphasis on it and just never pans out. Chainlink. This is a different kind of coin. Another one I'd be kind of watching quite confidently is you look at the Solana move. Chainlink moved in the same, but it didn't go as high as Solana. But the interesting point is that it has not dipped. So if it's not dipped, there's something in this coin, in the story of this coin, that it may not dip at all. And if anything, it could go up. Not saying it will or won't, but just looking at it has not dropped a lot. I see a slow recovery on equities till the next possible rate, and 2Q 2024 then up. Let me talk about that in a minute. And one last coin is Algo. Look at that big drop as well. That one was mentioned as well, but again, this is just one of those throwaway stories. The chain or Polygon Matic dipped a little bit, but it's not as bad, so that might bounce back as well. Avalanche, same thing. As you can see, it's dropped quite a bit. So the only ones that have retained anything is definitely ICP and Chainlink. So that's the only ones I can go with. So I see a slow recovery on equities till the next possible rate cut in 2Q 2024. The things that will drive that hitch is very simple. As I said earlier, there's two things that are going to drive that. The dollar. So you might be right. If the dollar comes back, then the dollar may move, and that will take off a lot of pressure. If that's the case, then maybe, just maybe, there might be a continual upswing in equities. The way I see it is I do think that the markets will move up until about mid-February, end of February. The reason I say that is because there's the trend of the hedge funds and the institutions, they'll be dumping a lot of stock at the end of the year for tax harvesting. So they'll dump a lot of stock at the end of the year to show losses, and then they'll buy back those same stock that they think will move up in early, like right now in 2024, and then they can run up the profit again. That's a pretty common strategy among these institutions, and I think that will continue the rally, and that will drive up the rally. I try to find the bigger picture, but it's a difficult one to get correct. Medicals are looking better. I do have. Let me show you the sector for healthcare. So let me pull that up. But I do think that's the general story I'm getting for what's going on in the space of just generally on the equity front. Let me just give me a second here. I'm going to pull up the sectors. Uh, Okay, so I ran scans this morning. I can't remember, but this pretty well determines what I'm saying. Okay, so again, this is not the future, but this is basically what it's looking like. Okay, so here is out of 64. I put up a video on another platform I'm sure you know about that kind of went into details on this, so I'd encourage you to watch that. But obviously I can't say certain things on these live streams on TradingView. But let me just show you here the returns as of Friday. So you asked about healthcare right here. So that's the ranking of the sectors. So will this move up? There will be certain stocks that may move in this space, but right now I'm seeing Latin America is doing okay. Real estate ETFs are doing okay, like REITs. I've talked about that in that video. Crypto's still number one, but as of today, that might change. China's doing okay, but I'm not seeing it as a top performer. I think a lot of that has to do with the recovery. But in terms of U.S. sectors, you got cloud tech stuff moving. One of the stocks that looked okay was Cisco. Might want to look at that. Healthcare, tough to say. And you can see it's mostly dividend, but when you say healthcare, that's quite possible. So hopefully I'll answer that. So that's pretty well what's going on. But overseas or international is obviously Latin America is quite surprising. And I haven't dug into the details, particularly what, but I have seen some stocks in Latin America that are listed on the U.S. markets, and they kind of look pretty good and they're sustainable. But when the markets dip like this for now 2 days, and let's say by Friday I'm running the scans, you get a different story on what's moving. Right now, a couple of companies that I saw that looked okay was Rio Tinto. Let me see here. This time last year, the materials were doing pretty good. And let me just pull up that one for Rio Tinto. You see it's moving up. And as the markets have dipped, it's fighting like a little champ. Daily frame, it's not too bad as a defensive. So Rio Tinto's looking okay. Another one that looked good, as I said, was Cisco. That one kind of popped up. But again, it's these gap downs that scare me. So you can see it's not lost any value, so as a defensive. So I can't say yes or no on these, but these two were up there in terms that are worthy to investigate. So take a look at those. Any other questions at all? I appreciate your participation. I'm trying to move these together. I'm going to do another educational stream after this because my thing that I'm watching on the other platform says, yes, people are interested in this type of topic. So I'm going to do a test response to see if people like that. And it's mostly specific to TradingView and probably PineScript as well. Oh, I do have Rio. Well done. Yeah. So that confirms that. This time last year, there were some very good stocks in the material space, like Freeport, McMoran. You can see here, this is what I don't like, those dips. But Rio's been pretty good. There's a couple other ones. There's a couple of Canadian ones as well. Oh, another one was it SCC? It was a copper play. Um, SCC. Just see, I can't remember the name of it, but it was SCC something. Copper. Let me see here. Crypto stock, but it was because copper is moving. It's kind of Copper's been moving up, but there's one company in copper that looked pretty good. They're saying that we're going into a bull cycle, or sorry, a commodity super cycle. So um, copper may be one of them, and as you know, and that's why I like to see copper move up because that's an early sign of manufacturing, and I think that kind of confirms why I'm seeing China doing well. There's something called the China Fund as well. So if you watch that, CHN, I don't know if that might be a considered, yeah, China Fund right here. Yeah, see this one not moving at all. So that's how you watch the China move. This China Fund's very good for that. Another one I've mentioned to watch global risk. This is what I'm more concerned about. Is this one I've mentioned this before? The global risk. Okay, so let me show you the daily. This is very important to understand. So when you look at, I don't know, 5 year, okay, this might not be a lot of concern comparative to the virus. But when you look at a 1 year, you see how volatile it is. When you start to see this spike, especially that little bar, that's when you get concerned on a macro level. So this right here, when XAG starts to move up, and that's been moving up since the end of the year, or sorry, yeah, it's the 1st of December. You know, this is an early indicator of something going on with the risk as it rises for gold silver ratio. So that's what I watch. There are some defensives as well in the currency space. They're starting to not spike, but they're starting to move up, and that's it's a very predictable move on that. So I'm kind of wondering if I would put money into that in the currencies instead of holding. Um, I think those currencies may start to move, but you always got to wait for that confirmation. The question is, when's the confirmation, right? But these are some of the ones that move. Any other questions you got, man? Uh, Mr. Hitch, or comments? As I said, I'm going to do another video stream, but it's going to be more educational stuff on the PineScript, and it's got to figure out. I'm just doing this as a test to see the response, but um, I would like to do more ideas on TradingView, but the problem with TradingView for ideas is just likes or boosts, as they call them. Here on the streams, I have the streams are really good because I'm able to build a fan base, like actually get followers on the stream. So that's all I've been doing for the last few weeks. I mean, that's the number one game thing is grow your followers, not your boosts, right? Anything else at all? I guess not. Okay, so I'm going to do another stream in a couple of minutes. So hang tight.